Hey everyone, welcome to Buzzing About Romance. I am Becky, and joining me on this quick shot of romance is Jenni. Hi, Jenni.
Hi, Becky.
So we are starting our deep dive into the motorcycle club world.
Yes, we are.
Have you read a lot of these?
I have not, like none.
Yeah, I don't love them. Did you get into Sons of Anarchy, the TV show and stuff?
No, is that like HBO? Yeah, that was.
I think it's FX. I think it's on Hulu now.
Oh.
It was never really my cup of tea. I didn't quite get it. I find them, as much as I read Mafia, this is going to sound like really bonkers, I find them to be really violent.
Okay, that makes sense. I think my problem is my dad was a motorcycle rider,
Okay.
so it's like kind of a little bit creepy.
Sure. Well, and I also I don't like the terminology of like the old lady. And I also think that being part of a motorcycle club gives them permission to be promiscuous.
Yes, I would agree. And like kind of living in the gray areas of the law.
Yeah, and a little degrading on the female characters and then the women around them, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, because you don't see women in like the position of power at all.
No.
I mean, maybe there's one out there. If there is, tell us.
Yeah. Well, and every once in a while, we do get mafia romances where the female main character has the power. She's the daughter of the Don, or, you know, she's actually running things.
Right. Or she works her way up. But yeah, you don't see a woman MC president.
No. So if you have those recs, send them to us because we need them. So on this episode of A Quick Shot of Romance, we are reviewing Wreck and Ruin by Emma Slate. This is book 1 in the Blue Angels Motorcycle Club series. You can find the synopsis on our website at buzzingaboutromance.com, but we'll break down the basics for you. December 5th, this book was released December 15th of 2019. This author has another pen name.
Yes.
I don't remember.
Samantha something.
But she writes more like women's fiction, literary fiction over romance.
Yeah, they're kind of like comedy,
self-discovery, women's fiction feels.
Yes.
So this is her debut under the name of Emma Slate, but she is not a debut author. She has several other books.
Is this her debut? I don't think this is her debut.
I think this is book 1 from Emma Slate.
No, the Sin series is
Sin series.
Yes,
Okay.
they make an appearance. Finn and his wife.
Yeah. Okay, so it's
Barnett,
not
like-
her debut.
Correct.
Okay, I was wrong. I gave her more credit then. Tropes on this are meet cute, instant connection, protector romance, possessive alpha hole, rescue romance, slow burn, and it is a motorcycle club. The series is the Blue Angel Motorcycle Club, book 1. These are interconnected standalones. The couple in this book absolutely have their own HEA at the end of this book. Point of view is first person, single point of view. Put out percentage is 30%. It did kind of have a little bit of a slow burn feel to it.
Yes, even though the timeline moves quickly, there's some tension and back and forth before they get to.
Well, and our hero's name is Colt, and our heroine's name is Mia, and he gives her very clear rules, guidelines, constructs to how their relationship's going to go. And basically, if they sleep together, he claims her.
Right, like he's
Felt a little vampire-ish, guys.
he is all in, like he's either all in or all out. Like it's not going
Right, this isn't going to be like a one-night stand, one and done kind of thing.
or like friends with benefits type.
Yeah. So we only get Emma's point of view, or Emma only writes Mia's point of view through this whole book.
Right, which was a bit frustrating.
I felt like we ended up with really underdeveloped situations. So the plot was underdeveloped. The characters are fine. Like, I feel like I knew who Colt was. I feel like I know who Mia is. And I even feel like I know who, like, the side characters are. There's her sister. There's Colt's second in command. Like, I feel like we knew those characters, but the plot, there were holes.
Yeah, and I feel like she works around those by saying like Mia can't have knowledge of certain things, like, oh, that's not for you to know, or I'm not going to tell you that to protect you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and they move her out of the room a lot. So like there is a situation where they go. So the way this, let's talk about how this story starts out.
It does have a good meet cute, I think.
I mean, right. Who knew motorcycle clubs had meet cute?
Right? Yeah.
It's really great. Mia works at this dive bar in their town. It's in Texas. And she's being hit on kind of by a frat boy. It's a college dive bar. She's being hit on by a frat boy, and these two burly motorcycle people walk in, and she walks up to Colt and says, "Kiss me," because she's trying to get that guy that's at the bar to leave her alone.
Right. Like, just act like you're my boyfriend.
Right. And he does, and it's a humdinger of a kiss. And frat boy leaves her alone. She goes back to work. And then later on in the evening, she catches Colt, the hero, beating up somebody in an alley because he caught the guy drugging another girl's drink.
Right.
So that gives us the protector. Like, he's kind of the motorcycle man with a conscience.
Sure. We'll go with that.
Is that what that
Yeah.
is?
We'll go. Like, he's very, like, he says this a couple times, like, protective of women. We don't really get why.
We don't. And again, that's kind of why we have this hole.
Yeah.
That we don't know. Why is he so protective of women? Was there a situation, with his mom or another woman that's associated to the club, a friend? Like, we don't.
Right. And both of the main characters are orphans, like,
right,
quote unquote, like, later in life.
Well, Mia was abandoned as a child to her grandmother and raised by her grandmother in the small town. Colt is the son of the man that founded the motorcycle club, and there was some connection to him being Scottish, like his or
yes.
Irish or something. His dad was from,
I believe it's Scottish.
And at one point he left Texas after his dad dies and goes back to Scotland.
He spends some time over there.
Yeah. But again, we're not given really clear reasons why, other than his sister called him home. Like, there was a situation, she needed him, so he came home. It just was really vague. Again, underdeveloped storyline a little bit. Okay, so the suspense element of this motorcycle club is that Mia's boss, Richie, Mia walks in on some kind of deal between Richie, the boss, and the president of a different motorcycle club.
Correct. And she really doesn't know what's going on.
She doesn't know what's going on, but somehow she ends up in that first, 15% helps Richie out of town. And the motorcycle club president from the other club, the Warring Club, has decided that Mia has knowledge as to where his stash is and what Richie was hiding. And she doesn't know if it's money or drugs or what. And they come knocking on her door, quite literally come knocking on her door.
Right. I was going to say she's not too stupid to live, but she's like just one step above it.
Yeah.
Like she runs out without anything.
Right. She runs out without anything, without any shoes. Like, you didn't try to sneak. I mean, she's sneaking in her house so they can't hear her. And she's climbing out a window. And she was in her bedroom.
Right.
Like, find some shoes.
Do you not have anything in your closet?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then she injures herself in that process.
Yeah. She ends up breaking her wrist from a fall, and then her feet are all banged up, and she ends up hiding in the doorway that just so happens to be the garage that Colt owns.
Correct.
And she's found by Colt and his vice president.
Yes.
Zip, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Zip. The names, I don't know, guys.
They explain some of the names. Some of the names we do not get explanations for.
So Mia has a best friend named Shelly. Shelly is like, run, run, run. Get out of town. Run because of Richie. Run, do not get associated to this motorcycle club. Like, Shelly is trying very hard to be the voice of reason.
Right. She, like, from the second, like, Mia walked up to this guy, like.
And we should, I think we should state, and I forgot to mention this, there are no content or trigger warnings on these books provided by the author.
Correct. Nothing.
And while there isn't, I don't think there's sexual assault on page. There's mention of drugging, of, a possible victim. There obviously is violence on page, but there is like gun violence and death in this book.
Yes.
And it kind of takes you back a little bit.
Yeah. Because I mentioned to you that, like, when I read a book, I want to believe that it's, like, not realistic, but some of the events that happen in this book are, like, too close to truth.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about writing this book and you're someone that violence on page and loss of a character will bother you, please reach out to Jenni or I via DMs and we will give you the content trigger warnings to more specific details on this title. Okay, so one of the things that really bugged me about this book is there is Colt's sister, Joni, 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 and Zip, the second in command. They have a secondary love story going on in this book. And I thought as we were building up, they were fighting tension. It was joked around and mentioned in Mia's point of view that Joni had this crush on Zip and kind of, watching from afar while he was living his motorcycle life and wouldn't cross the line. By the end of the book, they're together. Like, why didn't they get their own book?
I thought for sure they were going to be book 2.
I was invested in them for book 2.
Right. They are not book 2. They have like a little bonus content thing.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And there's some really big emotional scenes that Mia witnesses. So we only get her point of view of them.
Right. I was going to say it would be really great to see that from either Zip's point of view or Joni's point of view.
Yeah. It was just... And in this book, obviously, it's a book 1 in a series. Now, it is a spinoff, obviously, from another series. I didn't realize that. This author spends a lot of time world building and giving us the kind of lore of this motorcycle club.
Right.
And it does kind of drag the story.
Yeah. And also, like, we meet a lot of people in that world building. And then when I went and looked at, like, the next few books, like, we don't know those people yet.
No, that was a very interesting piece because there's all these couples and other old ladies that come and help take care of Mia and, help provide now that, because things happened to her home that was her grandmother's in the midst of all of this war between these two motorcycle clubs. And we meet all these women and their children, but they're already married and in relationships.
Right.
And they're not, like, you're investing all this time and energy and descriptions into these characters that we're not getting more books on.
Right. I think maybe one of the characters in the next few books is mentioned. Boxer.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. He gets a book. We don't.
Yeah. It just is so weird. It was, I don't know.
And there's a guy named Cheese.
Well, and then but things happen with Cheese.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, reach out for content trigger warnings. I think one of the biggest things that bugged me out of this book is it's a motorcycle club book. Guess how many times they rode a motorcycle?
0.
0 times. They 0 times rode a motorcycle in a motorcycle club book.
0.
0 times. Like, not even in the epilogue. Like, So the pacing of the book is fast. Like everything happens in under 10 days, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
From start to finish. I mean, it might be 2 weeks total, but it is not much time goes from the start of the book to the HEA. And we get an epilogue that takes place 1 year later. They're on their honeymoon.
And still no motorcycle.
Still no motorcycle.
Because her wrist was broken, so she couldn't, which I don't understand how she couldn't ride the motorcycle with a broken wrist, but.
Yeah, I don't know. Never did we ride a motorcycle. I also found Mia to be annoying with so much indecisiveness.
Yes, she's very much back and forth.
And it was only in that first 30% of the book. I mean, I almost put it down.
I could see that, yeah.
Because it was just make a choice. Now, I will say I guess there was kind of a third act breakup.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I mean.
Not technically, but sort of.
He's not on page. He can't make decisions.
Yeah. He rides his motorcycle and leaves. He rides his motorcycle. Does he ride a motor? No, he just leaves in his truck.
No, he is detained.
Oh, that's right. He was detained. That's right. See, no motorcycle. So there's not really a third act breakup, and it was spicy, but not overly sexy.
No. And
you do get a lot of world building. But so I'm curious, would you read the next book in this series?
Right now I probably have too many other books that are, pulling my attention. I might skim Boxer's book, but I'm not invested at this point.
I'm not. So, okay, that is our review on Wreck and Ruin. Jenni, thank you for joining me for this quick shot of romance.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, everyone, happy reading.
Find us on Instagram at Buzzing About Romance or on Twitter at Buzzing Romance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.